The market is getting all kinds of mixed signals. So, what are we supposed to believe is really going on with real estate? This is your host, Ron Wysakarski for Black Hole of Real Estate. And the signals are starting to make people get a little cuckoo. And there's pretty good reason out there. You've heard us talk about it on this podcast, how rates have come down to the fives. Really excited. Buyers are getting themselves qualified. They're getting ready to look at houses. And yet we hear from the other side that those that are selling homes right now are barely getting any showings. So which is it? Is it buyer's market, seller's market, neutral market, crazy market? I think it's mixed signals. And here's what I would give to you is an idea about what might be going on. Buyers are absolutely looking at properties online. We can see it. They're getting qualified with the new lower rates in the fives. That's exciting. So that's happening right now. What they're not necessarily doing is rushing out to look at properties because they're a little fussy right now. They're waiting for that late January inventory to kick in. And we talked about this at the end of last year. Remember December 31st, the biggest day of expired listings, the veritable Super Bowl of expired listings. And on January 1st, the inventory, it tips downward because a lot of properties expire, the most of any day of the year. And then after the holidays, people's like, well, let me reevaluate. Let me wait a little bit. Let's interview some agents. Let's get some new pictures, do some renovations, maybe a new strategy, maybe a new price. So those are all things that are in the mix. There is a certain group that are going to wait 30 days in the belief that they can reset the counter on the MLS and say, okay, we're brand new on the market. And we know with the proliferation of all these other real estate portals online that you can say on again, off again. So, 10 years ago, you could reset the counter. Nobody would even know, just disappear. But now there's way too much information out there. So there's a lot of information the sellers are diving into right now that couldn't sell at the end of last year that are probably going to be coming back on the market in the second half of January. And buyers are wondering, all right, so where's that inventory? Where's those new houses? That new inventory, that fresh look at homes that we haven't seen before that they can look at. Because keep in mind, if we're only talking about the listings that were on the market up until December 31st, that went off and coming back on, they've seen that. They're looking for something new, something different. There's excitement in the air with the new interest rates being in the fives, but they want something new to look at. So unless you are going to do something remarkable as a person or a seller that was on the market before December 31st, remarkable would be this. Big price drop, big change in marketing, maybe a different agent who has different contacts, and maybe a renovation, painted the house, redid the kitchen, redid a living space, added something, really unique to the property that was different than it was before, because otherwise it's just coming back on. And when it does come back on, unless there's a remarkable difference, it just looks the same. So buyers, they're pent up. They've got energy. They want to move. They're just looking for something a little bit different. So if you're a buyer waiting for the inventory to come on, I do believe that in the next 2 weeks, you're going to see some more inventory trickle ahead. There's not a big number of expired listings on January 31st, so you won't see a big drop on February 1st. And I believe you'll see more people roll into it because now we're getting into a season where if people were waiting for the 30 days to change the date counters, which again is old school and it's probably something else. It's kind of like your VHS tape. It doesn't work anymore. But people are going to do that. But I also think people are just exhausted from being on the market and want to just give it a break. And other people are thinking, well, I want to wait to time the market out to put my home on the market when the market picks up. Yeah, this is the picked up time. It's going to be this ebb and flow for the next couple of months. Now, rates could very well go down sometime between now and tax time, probably more likely in May, the next big dip over here. But there was a big infusion in the bond market. It got a lot of people talking. But it hasn't gotten people out of their chair to go looking just yet. Now, my suspicion is if snowbirds come down to Florida and things maybe loosen up a little bit with new listings coming on and maybe the economy gets good numbers, I think you're going to see it gradually increase. But I don't think tens of thousands of people are rushing to go to showings this weekend, which if you're a buyer is actually a big opportunity for you. If you're the only buyer out there right now who's looking this weekend at a particular property and you do want to make an offer, you are the captive audience. You're the only one looking. So that for you, that might be a competitive advantage to get out there a little earlier than everybody else. And if you're holding on for that, just know that as everybody jumps in and the listings come on, I do believe that will create some competition on some listings, the really nice ones that are well priced in a great area, in great condition, that are turnkey. I think everybody's going to jump on those. So in that area, if you've got that house, I think you're looking pretty good right now. If you're anything less than that, I think you're going to have to compete on one of the levels I just described. So a lot's going on behind the scenes, but right now it gives the appearance not much is going on. And I don't know that outwardly that's wrong, because what you see, the evidence showing counts are down. We're 2 weeks into the year. I mean, they're not going to dramatically change. But I do believe when they do change, it will ever increasingly get better faster. How's that? So in the meantime, if you're looking, this might be your opportunity this weekend to get out there with lower rates than it were, just even a few weeks ago. It could be a perceived bargain for you and ahead of the rest of the curve of competition. So I hope this helps you out of what's going on and what the mixed signals are in the market. It's actually pretty clear. It just feels a little bit different. So if you got questions, definitely drop those below. And if you think it's a good idea, subscribe. Maybe these videos can help you in your home search, buying a home. Hey, maybe you're ready to sell a home or make an investment. I believe this is going to help you. This is your host, Ron Wysakarski for the Black Hole of Real Estate.